Tonight on the Pioneer Sideline, buzzer beater. The men's basketball team narrowly escapes its home floor with a win to open conference play.
Close games, tough finishes. The women struggle to pick up early wins on their conference schedule.
The road to nationals. One track and field athlete is trying to get to the national meet. We'll sit down with him in studio tonight.
Let's go.
Let's go, Rob. It's time to come on down to the Pioneer Sideline.
Good evening and welcome to the Pioneer Sideline. I'm Rob Gomez.
And I'm Josh Krupp. The men's basketball team tipped off its home conference schedule last week.
And it was against the team that knocked them out of playoff contention last season.
Pioneers hungry for revenge, hungry to get off to a good start. Let's roll the highlights from last Wednesday's game against the Rio Grande Red Storm. Rio Grande, like you said, Rob, they knocked Point Park out of playoff contention last year. Pioneers want revenge. Point Park, typically a long ball team. I'm going to show you right now every three-pointer they hit in the first half. That was Daniel King. He hit one early. Later, Rashawn Roberts into the corner. Roberts connects with the three. Pioneers get two trays in the first. That was it. Later, in transition, Michael Connor lays it in. Pioneers up 39-35 at the half. It was a tight game back and forth. Second half, Point Park up one. They turn it over. Jackson Burgess lays it in transition. Couple possessions later, Gavin Rajapale buries it from three. Only two team threes in the first half. That was big. Timely. Pioneers up by 4. Ensuing possession. Repeat. Pioneers go up by 7. 2 trips, 2 threes. Big lead for Point Park. Rio wouldn't go away, though. 2 minutes left. That's an all-conference first-teamer last year. Will Hill ties the game at 75 with a 3. 1 minute left. Kenny Council goes underneath. Gets the basket. Rio goes back on top. 30 seconds later, after a Point Park free throw, Rio trying to run out the clock or pad the lead, and they missed the shot. Now a loose ball picked up by Aaron Barlow. Barlow's going to run it down the floor. The big 6'6" man. Daniel King drives. He loses it. Rob, he hits the winner. Aaron Barlow of all guys.
Incredible shot there, Josh. You know, you see him get that loose ball, and you see him dribble it up. Daniel King right here with 3 defenders in front of him, loses the ball. Rather than try and force it, he kicks it out to the open man, trusts his player, and right there you see it, drains it.
Unbelievable finish of all people. Aaron Barlow finishes it off with the buzzer beater. And Rob, that was an exciting game to call. It was an exciting game to be at. And right now we're going to bring in Megan Masiosi to talk about all the action. Rob, what a game.
Yeah, it was a great game. Megan, thanks for joining us. And first of all, I want to just get your reaction on that buzzer beater from Anthony Barlow.
It was absolutely incredible. The crowd was going crazy. Josh from the broadcast was going nuts, along with, I believe it was Dean Paley, you had correct?
Keith Balo right there with me.
Yeah, they were crazy. The cheerleaders, the fans, it was honestly an indescribable feeling. You had to be there.
Yeah. So now we're going to move on to the game. They only shot 9 3-point attempts and 30 in the next. What can they do to be more consistent shooting the ball and getting points on the board?
One person who definitely needs to be more consistent is Fusini Konate. He has big games and then he goes away for the next game. He had 20 points about a week ago, and this past game he only had 10. So he needs to get more consistent for this team to move on and do better.
You're exactly right. And so the Pioneers, they didn't have just one game last week. They had 2. They also hosted West Virginia Tech last week, and that was a very good West Virginia Tech Golden Bears team that received votes in the NAIA Top 25 preseason poll. They also made a national tournament appearance last year. Let's check out the highlights from that game. And Rob, this one was a little bit of a different story. We're going to show you right now. I showed you the last highlight. Both threes the Pioneers made in the first half. Now I'm going to show you the only lead the Pioneers had on the night. Ironically, it was a 3, and it's this one in the first minute. Daniel King once again. King's been a great addition for the Pioneers. He finished with a team-high 21 that included 4 trays, but Tech dominated this one, especially from outside. This is 6'8" Michael Scott. Everybody's favorite boss, not for Point Park, though. He finished with 20 points, 23 boards, 4 triples. And then here, Andreas Janssen. This kid was unbelievable in the first half. That three puts Tech up by 20. He piled it on in the first half. Calls for it here, puts a three up on Mark Shahady, hand in his face. He had 6 3-pointers in the first half alone. 20 of his 22 points came before the break. Really not much to see here from this game, Rob. Tech out rebounds Point Park 51-30. They shot the daylights out of the gym with 16 triples. They led by as many as 28. They win 98-79, and a completely different story against a completely different team. Rio Grande is out for blood this year, and they showed it off against Point Park.
Yeah, they are a great team, and we have Megan back with us to analyze this game. And Megan, Gav Rajapaley in that game only scored 4 points, and he's averaged 18 points a game, in nine games. But how much do the Pioneers rely on Gav to make a big presence?
Well, I think we just saw it in this last game. 4 points, and they got outshot. Their rebounds were awful. They lost by 20 points. They rely on him a lot. 18 points, I mean, I understand you have an off night. I get that. But when you are that big of an impact to your team, you can't have a bad night. A bad night needs to be 10 points, not 4. So to get more production out of him, I mean, maybe he just needs to show up, communicate a little better with his team. But 4 points, that you can't do that.
Yeah, and Josh hinted on this actually during the highlights. They got out-rebounded 51-30. They're the second lowest rebounding team in the conference. What can they do to improve those numbers?
Well, Fusina Konate actually leads the defensive rebounds. So what he needs to do is obviously Point Park's a very small team. They're definitely missing Alan Cortez, who is a transfer student. He's 6'6", and not having him up there, it's showing. I mean, they need bigger guys to get the rebounds and send it down to the smaller guys like Daniel King for the breakaways.
Well, thanks a lot, Megan. Pioneers in action tonight against Carlo, and we'll see if they're able to correct those mistakes this evening. Coming up after the break, Rob.
We stick to the hardwood and break down the women's basketball team. First pair of home conference games.
And once again, we're going to nationals, or at least we're trying to. We'll talk to one track and field athlete whose quest for nationals began last weekend. All that and more. Don't go anywhere.
T. Why should you watch In Focus?
Because, why not?
Turk. Why should you watch In Focus?
Because I produce it.
Welcome to In Focus.
Hello. This is so we don't run out of time.
Put up a goal just because it...
In a little bit closer, please. Let me bring this in. Yeah, I wanted to do a game. So, game time. All right, game over. Oh, wow. Did we get that?
There he is. Why do you watch In Focus? Because In Focus is great. Chris! Game time! Game time! It's not game time. It's a promo.
Start your morning with us. I'm your host, Jess Paterchek.
And I'm your host, Alex Groves.
Good morning and welcome to another episode
That is what
of
happened at the
Daybreak. I'm your
cathedral.
host,
WPXI, the state wants to take $357 million out of a trust fund that
Some
is
of that
typically
wintry
the
mix stuff could get me.
I care for you.
What up? The diva himself. Only on Daybreak.
Welcome back. The women's basketball team also hosted Rio Grande and West Virginia Tech last week.
That's right, Rob. The Pioneers looked to get off to a good start in their conference schedule, but they faced a tough test right away with Rio Grande last Wednesday. Let's check out those highlights, shall we? The Pioneers taking on the Red Storm of Rio Grande at home. First conference home game at CCAC Allegheny. Tipping off right here, we'll start in the first quarter, Sydney Holden. She's going to get the ball eventually and put a three down that puts Rio up by 10. They open with a 12-2 run. Boom, nothing but net there. Big first half for Rio Grande. China Chambers later, this is second quarter, gives Rio the largest lead of the night. They go up by 16 points early on in the game. Third quarter, Marissa Agers is going to head to the free throw line. Bailey Bulika waiting underneath the hoop, gets the missed gets the rebound, puts it back. She had 8 on the night, and the Pioneers now within 7. Later, Agers underneath the hoop. Got a rocket pass from Mitch Burns there. Transition again. Burns a no-look pass. Sam Weir gets in the corner and hits the 3. Got help from the rim there. More transition ball. Mitch Burns. Rocket down the floor. Rinse and repeat. It's Agers once again. Pioneers get the lead. Rinse and repeat. Burns underneath. Weir finishes. Pioneers go up by 9 with that bucket. How did they come back? I have no idea. They did it, and they're up right now. Pioneers trail by 12 at the start of the quarter. They outscored Rio 30-9 in the third, but Holden is back. River State's Conference Player of the week prior. She had 16 and 11, kicked off a 9-0 run. Rio regains the lead. Final seconds were tied at 75, and there's your game winner. Jimmy Howell gets it to go. Pioneers are going to try and get Tony Grenick to draw up a play here that ties it. Burns takes it to the hoop. A lot of contact, no foul. She had 13 of her 20 points from the free throw line. Doesn't get the call she wanted. No chance to get to the line to tie it. Rio comes away with a 77-75, a tough victory for the Rio Grande, a tough loss for the Pioneers to swallow.
Yeah, very tough loss. I think that's one of the hardest things is when you're down by 16. And coming back up, we got Allison Schubert joining us now here at the desk to analyze this game. And Allison, we talked about this here. Down by 16, they go on an 11-point run. What does that say about this team?
It just shows their resilience. They can be down by 16, but then Tony Grenick, I know the girls have a lot of respect for him. They go out on the court and they give it their all no matter what. They could be down by 30, down like 16 like we said, or even in the lead, and they won't give up. They just go out there and they give it their all the time.
Finishing games is going to be the struggle for Point Park, as we saw here. They also hosted West Virginia Tech, like the men, on Saturday, trying to bounce back from that tough game against the Red Storm. Let's see if they were able to do that and check out the highlights from Point Park, West Virginia Tech. This one, like Rio, back and forth early on. And we're going to see a player that we don't see typically in the starting lineup get some good minutes off the bench. Bailey Mook gets a 3 off the bench. This one ties it. She had 14 coming off the bench. Great night for Bailey Mook. You'll hear her name later. Sam Weir buries a 3 here. She had 16. Point Park goes up by 5 in the second quarter. Next possession, though, Savannah Shamblin. That's the one player everyone had circled. She buries a 3, hand in her face. Pioneers up 31-29. They couldn't stop Shamblin. Later in the half, again, she had 13 in the first half. Tech led by 1 at the break. Tony Grenick trying to make corrections, saying, stop Savannah Shamblin. It's not going to happen. Midway through the third quarter, step back. Shamblin buries it. Largest lead of the day. Golden Bears go up by 9. Pioneers, though, able to work it back. They trailed by 3 at the end of 3. And here again, Shamblin, she was able to line that one up and puts the Golden Bears back up by 8. Under 3 left, Pioneers trying to work it back. Mook from downtown, once again, she's fired up after that one. Point Park was able to get within 1, but West Virginia Tech gets to the free throw line, gets 10 straight free throws to seal the deal. They win 85-79. Shamblin finished with 30 points. 12 of those points came in the fourth quarter, and the Pioneers can't escape with the win.
Very tough losses. 2 tough losses in a row.
Very close.
Very tough. We have, once again, Allison Schubert back with us again. And Allison, 2 close losses. What does the women's basketball team need to do to convert these tough losses into wins?
I was talking to Coach Grenick after the game, and he credited their loss to a lot of just what he called stupid mental errors, just little things that they were doing, whether it wasn't executing their shots or simply just not making them, that really gave them their losses these past 2 games. But they really need to turn that around going into this game against Carlo, which just ended, and the Pioneers won 61-56. So they got their first conference win in there. Hopefully that'll boost their momentum a little bit, and they'll continue that throughout the rest of conference play.
Got the W. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter how you win. Just as long as you get the win, Rob. So coming up next, we're going to sit down with an athlete who is trying to win so much this season. We'll talk to cross-country All-American who's trying to get back into the All-American status once again, but this time in track and field, Rob.
Yeah, and we embrace a hard debate about hard-hitting Case. Stay tuned.
you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. If I was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. If I was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too.
Spending just 7 minutes climbing stairs each day cuts your risk of a heart attack in half over 10 years. Sure, elevators are convenient, but you burn twice the number of calories just going upstairs than you do while jogging. Think about how long you spend waiting for elevators. The average person spends the equivalent of 2 years waiting for elevators over the course of their lifetime. Don't let that be you. Save time and increase energy. Next time, take the stairs.
I tell these guys all the time to stick to talking sports and not playing sports.
Here we go. Ready? Didn't make it. Welcome back. A few weeks ago, we told you about the cross-country team's quest to Vancouver, Washington. They qualified for nationals, and one of those athletes, whose name was Xavier Stevens. Now, Stevens is turning the page on cross-country season, looking ahead to track and field season. Indoor was last weekend, the very first meet. Xavier joins us in studio now, and Xavier, qualifying for nationals is going to be the same exact tough road that it was for indoor as it was for cross-country. Very close at the first indoor meet.
Yeah.
Setting a school record in the 800, but talk about that 800. How was that meet overall, just missing the qualifying mark for NAIAs?
It was good overall. Like the competition was good in the 8. I definitely need to work on my first lap in the 8. That's something I need to work on to help get me to nationals. So like the qualifying standards 155. I ran 156. I broke my previous record of 158. So it's definitely like last year I was already at 2 minutes. So it was definitely a good start, dropping 4 seconds from last year.
So you do both outdoor and indoor seasons. Can you tell us like what are the differences? How did preparing and even just in the middle of the meet?
So like usually for indoor season, we only go do 1 workout a week. We'll go up to YSU in Ohio on Wednesdays. And then like outdoor, we usually do like 1 or 2 workouts a week. And outdoor, I like outdoor better because it's like a 400-meter track and it's outside, of course. Indoor, like sometimes it's a little harder breathing, and then you have like the 200 or 300-meter tracks. And then you have like weird events like DMR, like 1,000, stuff like that, 500, 600, like events like that you wouldn't have outdoor.
And sticking with that theme of one versus the other, how was the transition going from cross country to indoor track season? You were conditioned the whole time, obviously. What was the transition like?
Yeah, it was good, but I definitely need to work. I haven't done as much like shorter speed like I would for track. Like I'm more in cross shape. So like I haven't been doing like shorter workouts like 200s and 300s and stuff like that. Like we've been doing longer stuff, mostly like 1,000s and 800s, maybe like a few 400s, like longer stuff.
So you actually broke one of the school records here. What was that in again?
800.
800. Okay. So tell me how you felt, knowing that you broke that record.
It felt good. I was confident that I was stronger coming into this season than last year. I just felt like I had a good cross-country season. I felt strong. I was confident. That was my goal for 156, so I hit it. But yeah, I was confident coming in and felt good and strong.
You said goal. What other goals do you have for yourself and for this indoor track team this season?
Definitely some more goals I have is to get our 4x8 team to nationals, maybe a DMR. I think we can. I want to try to make it individually in the 1,000 and 8 myself, of course, but I think our relays can make it.
And I'll ask you the final question here. You're an indoor season, and so far two athletes have qualified for nationals. To no surprise, Anna Shields qualifies the first meet. Dry Davis also gets triple jump honors. I assume you want to go to nationals, but
yeah.
Say you qualify too. Who else is going on that trip with you to Pittsburgh, Kansas? Who do you see going?
I think Desmond and Connor Wright, like Desmond Morrow, Connor Wright. Whoever else, maybe Andre Bennett on like our 4x8. I think we all have like the potential to go. and it'll probably be the same like for our our DMR, maybe Brian Partika. I think we have like a lot of people with potential to make it to qualify for nationals.
A lot of exciting things to come from the indoor and outdoor teams this season. Thank you so much, Xavier, for sitting down with us. Coming up after the break, how far is too far, Rob?
I don't know. When is a big hit okay? The biggest debate happening in football right now.
The case of the week is next.
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do.
What's one word to describe CAB?
Welcoming.
Community.
Creative.
Experiences.
Family.
Openness.
Pineapple.
The Campus Activities Board is a student-run organization that consists of 7 different committees. Each focuses on event planning, marketing, and administrative activities. Join us in organizing the juiciest events on campus, from late-night bingo to festive dances to our team bonding meetings. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Point Park Cap, or like us on Facebook at Campus Activities Board at Point Park University.
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Troop alongside Jess Paterchak.
Defending his decision to kick out 15 Cuban diplomats from the United States.
Thanks, Allison. Fitness on Demand has returned to Point Park.
Residents fear that Mount Agung will have a repeat of 1963's eruption.
2-star NFL quarterbacks made the headlines this week after wrapping up.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight. For Nick Tomarello, I'm Alex Grubbs. Have a great night.
Welcome back. Last night, we saw some bone-crushing hits during the Steelers and Bengals game, Rob.
Yeah, it was just insane. Hits left and right, concussions. We saw the hit with Ryan Shazier, excuse me. And, that's probably one of the biggest topics right now is what hit can we eliminate? So we have Megan Masiosi and Mike Turk here to talk about the hot topic right now in the NFL.
How far is too far for these hits, Megan?
To me, I think anytime you lead or you make contact with the head, that's too far. With the hit like Gronk, way too far.
The Gronk play, that's a whole unbelievable.
Yeah, there was a lot of frustration on Gronk there, and you can't play with that much emotion, especially on plays like that. Going down.
Wrestling move.
That
one I think was one of the worst.
I want to ask. You said you can't play with that emotion. Football is an emotional sport. You play with nothing but emotion, a complete opposite of baseball. One thing that I'm wondering is they have these limits now where you can't hit below the knees and you can't hit above the chest. I mean, and it creates a really tough position for these defensive players. What do you see the game advancing from here?
Well, we saw things with like Carson Palmer back in the AFC wild card game many years ago, the Kimo von Oelhoffen rule, when he rolled up on Carson Palmer's leg. We've seen a lot of rules implemented in the league on that one. It seems like every time the Steelers and Bengals play, there's a new rule once those minutes are up.
Yeah, right.
Oh my goodness.
There's like 3 or 4 rules in the NFL just based on those teams alone.
Exactly, I know.
And you can only suspend and fine people so much, and the league is coming out with the suspensions today saying we will not tolerate hits to the head against a defenseless player. Now, how was Juju Smith-Schuster's hit warranted or not, Megan?
I don't know. Being a Steelers fan, it's hard, but I think if you're going to be fair, you have to give it to everybody. However, I don't think his hit was as bad as Gronk's. The fact that they have the same amount of game suspensions for it is where the league needs to stop and look at it. Gronk should be suspended 2, 3, maybe even 4 games. I mean, he put his elbow straight into the back of his head at the end of a play. Juju's was in the moment. He was technically blocking. It was a little bit of a blindside, but at the same time, it's perfect. I mean, he had to know he has a target on his back with the hits that he gives.
And the thing that got me in the explanation for the suspension, Rob, they said that part of the reason he got the game was because he stood over. Don't give them the suspension for taunting. I didn't like that part of this. The explanation.
I understood that though. I understood that. I mean, 'cause if he just hit him and didn't walked away, I can see them just finding him and not doing the suspension. But it's the fact that he stood over him and gave him that type of not an intimidation factor, but just stuck it in his face. Like, yeah, I know what I did. And you know what? You're down there, and I'm up here.
But didn't he kind of do that to AB last year in the AFC Championship game? I mean, that's where it gets the lines start to cross.
He gets suspended in that. For the next season though. After that, so I mean, it's kind of one of those things where the NFL is really a touchy thing, where it's like there is no consistency.
That's the problem.
But did Juju and Gronk deserve the same amount of games? George Iloka also getting suspended 1 game for his hit on AB in the end zone. He still celebrates the touchdown at the end.
That's what matters.
Let's not forget Crabtree and Talib got 2 just for
Why
fighting.
That was different. They were fighting.
We're not going there. So both players got suspended yesterday. They're both appealing. We'll see where that goes. You said a lot. These guys are doing a lot, right? Somebody who's done a lot on this program is my man Rob Gomez. Before we go here tonight, you may notice a different host tonight. This isn't Sarah Maculin. As you can tell, this is Rob Gomez. Today is the semester finale of the Pioneer Sideline. It's also the UView finale for our longtime friend and partner here, Rob Gomez. Rob, we wanted to send you off with this video made by our own Nick Kasiski to wish you off with the best of wishes.
So like it didn't have to be back. Like we could have went boom, and then it could have we went to the screen, and then we could have went right back to it. Like just to show something different.
If you work in the control room, you gotta wear a hat. That's a rule.
Hey,
basically.
How was in the control room?
It's a little stressful. It's always a little stressful. You never know what's going to happen, but it's all about powering through it and producing a good show.
Leaf flicker. Let's go. Let's go.
Rob, what was your favorite hairstyle over the years?
Favorite hairstyle? Oh, because I have had a few.
Yes.
Get the light though, get the light. And then I'll be like, Tim, go to it. Yeah, that's good.
Wait, are you ready?
Yeah.
Dude, that looks hard.
I go from anything between Dove, Pantene.
Touchdown! Wait, Rob, can we get a quick mic check on you?
Mic check 1, 2.
Oh, he's good, all right.
Have fun with it. I don't know. I don't really have. I just have fun. I don't really have fun. Work hard. That's what I do. Have fun. Work hard. You'll be good.
From our man of the hour, Rob Gomez. A round of applause for this guy, man.
Nikki K.
You get the final thoughts from you, man. What an incredible run this has been.
Man, it has been fun. I'd never expected, being here for, practically 2 years and coming every Tuesday and Thursday. I never thought about that. That was actually going to be here. And it was hard not to once, we meet with you, everyone that's been here these past couple of years with me. It's been so much fun. Like I said, have fun and work hard. That's what I like to do. And I really, all you guys, I couldn't, it's hard. I didn't think I was gonna get like a little emotional, but seeing that video, Nikki K, you did a great job. And just I can't thank everyone here enough. You guys accepted me coming all the way across the country. No one here, and you guys were like my second family here in Pittsburgh, and UView is going to have a special place in my heart.
Well, you're always welcome here in the Berg if you want to escape California and that lovely weather out there. If the Raiders start losing, man, the Steelers will also welcome you.
There you go.
So that's going to do it here for this semester. We'll see you next semester at the same Pioneer time.
The same Pioneer channel.
And the same Pioneer Sideline.